Go ahead, punks. Ask us if we shot some guns recently. 'Cause we did.
I'm Marquise from East Hartford, Connecticut. Let's talk about that.
Good mythical morning!
Today's episode is brought to you by Blue Microphones, maker of this microphone that we speak into every day.
As well as this microphone. This is the Snowball. It is a nifty USB-powered microphone. Check it out, people. Ladies and gentlemen. Are you going to tell them?
Oh, yeah. I am excited because today, Link, did you not know, we have actually been keeping count of how many episodes we've been doing of this show.
I haven't been keeping count, but I'm going to guess that we're on episode 51.
No. We're on episode 50. Let's play some celebration music.
Thank you for joining us and celebrating with us.
It'll be added later. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the rhythm is.
Yeah, but it's kind of like this. So how many of you have been with us for all 50? Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for, by show of hands, I recognize all of you. Best of Mythical Beasts. And if you join us later, you can always go back and catch up. You know, that's the luxury of how we do this thing.
Yeah, it stays on the internet. Okay.
What better way to celebrate number 50 than what? What are we going to do?
Well,
I'll let you tell them.
Everybody knows the world is going to end in 2012. That's been established by everyone from the Aztecs to that preacher out here in California. So, because the world is going to end in 2012, in our efforts to get ready for the end of the world,
yes,
we did what any two level-headed men would do. We went to the gun range to learn how to shoot guns.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Using the term shooting guns and level-headed in the same sentence it doesn't make sense to you. So just bear with us. You know, we're just going to share our experience here. We're not going to dive into the controversies associated with guns, gun control, or anything like that?
I am.
Are we going deep? Okay.
I don't know.
I'll stay shallow, and you go into the deep end of gun control controversy.
Actually, this wasn't even our idea. We had a group of friends that were going to the gun range. They invited us. We said, let's go. We went to the gun range. I don't know if you've ever been to one of these, and I don't know if this is just like I assume this happens in many different places in the world, but just in case you're not familiar with it, essentially, a gun range is a place where you go, you walk into this like lobby area, and there's some dudes behind a counter, and they have every kind of gun that you could imagine, guns that you didn't even know existed.
Under a glass case.
And some up on the wall. We got pistols, we got, like semi-automatic pistols, we got revolvers, we've got rifles, we've got shotguns, we've got semi-automatic guns of all kinds.
If they've got a trigger, if it has a trigger, they've probably got it. And then they've also got all types of targets on the wall. So then you go in there and you take your gun, you take your target, you pay them some money, and then you go into the range room, which you put on some hearing protection, and then you get a little booth, and then you shoot at a target. You've seen police target show things. The scene in the police drama where the guy's having target practice, and the other guy comes in to tell him the bad news that the internal investigation.
Did you hear about Mahoney?
Yeah, he's
it's a shame.
Internal affairs is all over his butt.
It's a shame. Mahoney, he's a family man.
Black, black, black. And then, you hit the button and the target
And
goes,
why is his name always Mahoney? Why is his name always Mahoney?
Because it rhymes with baloney.
Did you hear about Mahoney? That's a bunch of baloney. That doesn't sound like a good cop movie.
It sounds like a pretty cool poem. The beginnings of a great cop poem. But anyway, then you shoot, and if you miss the target, or it's paper, so when it goes through the target, it hits a big...
It doesn't bounce back at you.
A big pile
You're
of
not
rubber.
dodging the bullets.
Right. That would be an added level of difficulty, and I would not have said yes to this thing. But I almost didn't say yes anyway. I didn't tell you this.
Really?
Well...
I jumped at the opportunity.
When the invitation was extended, my first thought was, I'm going to have something to do then. Shooting guns, it doesn't excite me. A matter of fact, it raises lots of anxiety. It wells up within me.
Well, I will admit that, we are in Los Angeles. And as we've established on previous episodes of Good Mythical Morning, this is not a very normal place. We have bunny ladies that attack your children at the park. We have harp-playing men and people who dance with them. It's not exactly...
And their shirts aren't even tucked all the way in.
It's not the kind of place that you want to go and hang out with a group of strangers who all have the capacity to kill you at a moment's notice. I mean, this is like, we're out there, these people could be absolutely bonkers, crazy, and they've just got pistols, and nobody's really doing it with 2 hands, but a picture just showing up, and it's like Wile E. Coyote or Yosemite Sam.
Yosemite Sam. If you pay enough money, I think you could do that.
So anyway, it could turn into a volatile situation really quickly because there's all these armed people, and it's loud, and it's constantly happening.
Well, there's guns firing.
Guns firing.
Here's what happened. We get there, there's 12 of us. They told us to pair up so that you could have 2 people in each slot, and there's a gun there. They say the gun stays in the slot, and then the pairs of guys can move because we got 6 different guns.
Yeah,
and
we had 12 guys, so we rotated through 6
You
guns.
don't walk around with a gun. The gun stays, and you walk around to a different slot. But I was paired up with a guy. It was like middle school when you're choosing the kickball team. I was the odd man out.
Well, we decided not to pair up because...
So we could bond with some other guys.
Yeah, I mean, we know each other pretty well.
Make some friends for once. But I was paired up with a guy who, his name was Phil, and it turns out he was straight-laced, wasn't a very boisterous or outspoken kind of guy. He's pretty quiet. He was what was he? He said he was a insurance accountant kind of guy. So he's a numbers kind of a guy.
But he brought his own pistol.
But he did bring his own gun. He was the only guy that brought his own gun. So I go in with him and I say, okay, that's good. You obviously know what you're doing.
Did you choose this guy because you thought he was least likely to turn on you and kill you?
No, he was the only other guy who didn't have a friend. Me and Phil.
You were the 2 left out at the end after everybody had picked a friend.
Yeah, like
picked
kickball.
a buddy.
Last 2 guys picked for kickball. So I say, Phil, why don't you shoot first? And what I'm thinking is, I'm going to watch you shoot so I can figure out how to shoot your gun.
Okay.
But because I didn't want to tell him.
Yeah.
And he goes and shoots, and then he comes back and he says, okay, there's the gun. Now it's your turn. So I go up there and I look at it, and I have no clue what to do. And this is his gun. It's not only can I kill myself or hurt somebody, but I'm also now going to mess up this guy's gun, I'm afraid.
His property.
So I swallow my pride and I turn around and I call Phil up there and I say, walk me through this.
Sure thing, buddy.
And Phil says...
Does he say sure thing, buddy?
No, he said, have you ever fired a gun before? And what he's thinking is,
you don't look like
is the first gun you're ever going to fire mine? And I'm like, well, pretty much. This is it. And so he says, well, you do this, and you do this. And I'm like getting nothing and saying, okay. And it's just a bunch of guys there, so you don't want to be like, I'm afraid. I mean, but which is stupid. Don't be like me, you know?
Please.
Don't put people's lives in danger at the gun range. So anyway, it's what kind of gun is it? It's like a handgun.
It was like a 9mm semi-automatic.
Pop the clip in.
Like Mahoney uses.
And then I shot one. Well, I cock it back and then I shoot. And then before thinking, I cocked it again.
Link, here's the deal. For those of you who know anything about guns, Link doesn't understand the advantages that a semi-automatic pistol offers, meaning that you don't have to cock the gun every single time. You do it once, you put the clip in, cock it, and then you shoot until the bullets are gone. That's
So I do that.
That's the latest in gun technology, as in like 1928.
So I do that, and then Phil runs up and he says, I think you may have jammed it. It's best if you just put the gun down and step back. I felt horrible, but nobody died.
But you came around, and then we both had the opportunity to shoot a very large revolver, a 50 caliber revolver. This thing's like a hand cannon. I was genuinely scared of this thing because it was so loud and so powerful that when someone else shot it at any time while we were out there, you felt like a
shockwave,
like a percussive sort of thing in your face. Yeah. And then Link gets up to shoot the thing, and it turns out that the bullet that has already been expended is inside the chamber. And so
I'm like, click! Oh, and nothing happened. And I almost fell over forward because nothing happened.
But, in spite of the inherent dangers, in spite of the fact that you could accidentally hurt yourself, you could accidentally hurt someone else, you could be hurt by someone else, I strongly encourage going to the gun range and shooting a gun. Here's why. I think that everyone who has the ability to do so.
And the right. If they have the right. It depends on where you're from.
Is there places where you don't have the right to shoot a gun?
I don't know.
So, maybe.
I don't know.
To just feel the power in your hands. Now, I'm not saying you got to go out and start shooting everything in sight or even buy a gun.
Matter of fact, you're not saying that, just to clarify.
Yeah, don't do that. I'm just saying.
You're saying in a controlled environment.
You should shoot
proper
a gun.
supervision. I'm like your lawyer now.
You should shoot a gun before you die. Not at someone, and don't shoot a gun right before you die.
And if you don't,
it shouldn't have anything to do with you dying.
And if you don't know what you're doing, tell somebody and don't just forge ahead. That's stupid.
Because I think it's difficult to have an opinion about something that you haven't experienced. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like, does that make sense?
I guess.
It's probably a horrible argument. In fact, I take that back. Just shoot a gun because it's fun, it's cool, it's holding some power in your hands, and you got the right to do it.
What do you think about that?
Good Mythical Morning. Happy 50th episode, people.
All right, we're going to spin the wheel, see how to end this thing. All right. I feel like we might have to be doing some replying to the comments, like it's borderline apologizing, just to kind of take the edge off of some of the things you said about guns.
I'm not apologizing for anything.
I am personally taking all the edge off of everything Rhett just said right now, so I don't have to write a bunch of comments.
Rhett is Gandalf, and Link is Frodo.
Thanks for submitting this idea. Hello, Gandalf.
You shall not pass!
Gandalf, what are you talking about? I'm back in the Shire.
Frodo, you shall not pass!
I just want to get something out of the fridge. Just get some ketchup.
You shall not pass!
Okay.
Would you like to go to the gun range?
See you tomorrow.